Escalating trade war between the two biggest economies in the world, China and the United States. US may take a new twist as the China leader, Xi Jinping on Friday for the first time issued a public statement in reaction to President Donald Trump's continuous issuance of apparently outrageous self-imposed tariffs on goods exported by other countries to the US, with the president stating clearly to Trump that China is not afraid of US. This is in addition to Jinping's earlier statement he issued on November 5, 2018 during the first tenure of President Donald Trump that the Chinese economy is an ocean and not a pond, that China economy can withstand strong winds and storms. The Chinese leader, Xi Jinping, stated this on Friday when he attended a bilateral meeting with Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez at Daoyutai Guest House in Beijing. The Chinese President Xi Jinping also urged the European Union on Friday to join hands with Beijing in resisting what he described as unilateral bullying, as reported by the Chinese state media. Jinping said his nation is not afraid, in his first public comment on the escalating trade war with the United States that has tanked international markets and fueled fears of a global recession, according to CNN. There are no winners in a trade war, and going against the world will only lead to self-isolation. Xi stated this before the Spanish Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, in Beijing on Friday, according to state broadcaster CCTV. For over 70 years, China's development has relied on self-reliance and hard work, never on handouts from others, and it is not afraid of any unjust suppression, Xi added. Regardless of how the external environment changes, China will remain confident, stay focused, and concentrate on managing its own affairs well. On November 5, 2018 at the first China International Trade Import and Export meeting in Shanghai, Jinping, while employing some sense of metaphor, had said that the Chinese economy is not a pond, but an ocean. Adding that with unwavering confidence and resilience, China with its vast ocean can withstand strong winds and storms while navigating the chill of trade headwinds. According to Jinping, strong winds and storms can upset a pond and not an ocean, stressing that an ocean may have its calm days, with expectations of strong winds and storms to remain what it is. Explaining further that an ocean has experienced several strong winds and storms and yet still remains where it is, saying, China has encountered numerous trials and tribulations, and the country still remains intact and making more progress economically. It would be recalled that the economic conflict between China and the United States has been ongoing since January 2018, when the US President, Donald Trump, began setting tariffs and other trade barriers on China with the goal of forcing it to make changes to what the US under Trump leadership said to be long-standing unfair trade practices and intellectual property theft during his first tenure in office as the US President. Shortly after taking over office for the second time as the US President in January 2025, Donald Trump imposed 25% tariff on China goods, with China retaliating with the same measure, forcing the Ukrainian President, Volodymyr Zelensky, has begged the United States, US and European countries to help Ukrainians with at least 10 Patriot anti-missiles air defense system to protect its territory against the use of ballistic missiles by Russia military under the command of President Vladimir Putin, stressing that there are air raids alerts sounding across several places in Ukraine due to the Russia ballistic missiles threat, and yesterday, a missile suspected to be ballistic was used to attack Dnipro, which led to the killing of one person, with 5 others injured. This, as the Ukrainian president said that the country is currently investigating the involvement of Chinese nationals in the Russia war against Ukraine, adding that some nationals from China have been captured as prisoners of war, in the Donetsk region, adding that Putin is recruiting citizens from China to prolong the war. Zelensky, in a statement less than 72 hours ago, said the Patriot's air defense system is second to none, expressing confidence and hope that the Patriots can destroy and protest the troubled Ukraine against the ballistic missile that travels 5 times faster than the speed of a sound. According to Zelensky, a meeting of the military cabinet was held, with thorough reports from Syrsky, Natov, and Drapachy. All directions, all parts of the front line were covered. Our positions, necessary supplies, and staffing. the maximum effort for stabilizing the situation, for our active actions and our active diplomacy. Today I have also discussed with the Minister of Defense of Ukraine our preparations for the upcoming Ramstein meeting, which is scheduled for Friday. Our top priority is air defense, above all, missile defense against ballistic threats. Ukraine needs at the very least 10 systems that are sufficiently effective specifically against Russian ballistic missiles, and this is where Patriots are second to none. We have repeatedly raised this issue with the American side and with everyone in Europe who is in a position to help. We are counting on decisions. Just today, there were several air raid alerts across the country due to ballistic missile threats. In some parts of our country, people are virtually living under the constant threat of such attacks. And right now, the world lacks not the systems themselves, but only the political decisions needed to protect lives. The systems do exist. There are even enough patriots in the world to guarantee protection from Russian terror once and for all. But this requires a political decision, a decision by our partners. Zelensky, in another statement few hours ago, said that the emergency response operations are currently underway in Dnipro at the site of a Russian missile strike. Preliminary reports indicate it was a ballistic missile. Unfortunately, one person was killed. My condolences to their family and loved ones. As of now, 5 others have been reported injured. All are receiving medical assistance. Earlier today, there was an air raid alert in Kyiv due to an attack drone. Many regions have reported Russian strikes and shelling. In particular, Nikopol was hit by 5 Russian FPV drones, a completely deliberate strike on the city, near a food market, targeting civilians. 12 people. Death's toll has continued to rise after Injili River overflowed its banks due to torrential rainfall in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC capital, Kinshasa, forcing residents to shelter rooftops of their houses, cars as the river cut off and divided major access roads in the troubled Africa country on Friday night. The Injili River, which runs through part of the city of around 17 million, overflowed its banks on Friday night, blocking the main national road and leaving drivers stranded since Saturday evening, according to local media. Eyewitness videos posted online showed some residents trying to flee the floodwaters by wading, swimming or paddling to safety in homemade canoes, with some staying on rooftops. AP news agency who monitored the situation in the DRC capital, Kinshasa, on Monday, reported that the death toll from flooding that cut access to over half of the Congolese capital of Kinshasa reached 33 as authorities raced Monday to evacuate and support hundreds of families trapped in their homes. 10 more people were confirmed dead as of Sunday evening, in addition to the 23 people killed the day before, Congolese Interior Minister Jacquemin Shabani said on state television late Sunday. Heavy rains began last week, causing the key Injili River to overflow on Friday and submerge hundreds of buildings. While the situation had improved by Monday morning, some access roads remained blocked and vehicular traffic was limited. Many residents blamed the government for not responding quickly enough to the disaster. It was also gathered that while some residents took shelter on rooftops or in gas stations, with others remaining stranded in their vehicles, parts of the city remain difficult to access, and the death toll may rise as rescue efforts continue. The death toll is provisional, but so far there are around 30 dead, Patrician Gongo Abakazi told Reuters. On the way home from the airport last night to welcome a friend, we spent the night in the car because there was no safe place to park, said Patricia Makonga, a Kinshasa resident told news agency. Kinshasa Governor Daniel Bumba Lubaki said the water infrastructure had been affected but that supply would be reinstated within 2 or 3 days. In a televised speech, he blamed illegal housing for some of the deaths and threatened to evict people from unplanned settlements. Hydrologist Drive Raphael Chimanga Muamba said the river had been affected by human activity over time. These are anthropogenic actions where rivers are degraded. The dimensions no longer represent their initial capacity to contain floods, he told Reuters. The flooding comes at a vulnerable moment for the Central African nation. Rwanda-backed M23 rebels have intensified an offensive in the turbulent east of the country since the start of the year, with more than 7,000 people killed in the fighting in the first 2 months of the year and the rebel group taking control of more territories in the East Africa country. Some local observers noted that the city of Kinshasa was submerged in water due to the poor drainage system and preparation by authorities. Kinshasa City Governor Daniel Bumba Lubaki called on Kinshasa residents to avoid visiting high-risk areas to prevent more casualties. Solutions have already been taken.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.